Namaste and welcome to On the Mat with Marla. Thank you for joining me today. We are filming at Istmo Yoga and Adventure Retreat Center. This place is nestled in the pristine jungle of Panama. The Pacific Ocean is less than a 3-minute walk away. The beaches are uncrowded and absolutely beautiful. So I am forever grateful to Sean and Aisha at Istmo for allowing us to film here today. Thank you. Namaste and welcome to On the Mat with Marla. Today's practice is going to be a restorative, very gentle practice. So you may want to gather some props, and I'm currently in a yoga studio, so I have lots of props, but if you don't have that at your home, it's okay. You can use couches off the pillow, pillows off the couch. If you have long king-size pillows on your bed, that can be very useful. All you also need is blankets. You can roll up blankets to create a bolster effect. If you have extra yoga mats, you can take a yoga mat that's rolled up and place a blanket on top of it to create a bolster effect. So there's lots of different ways that you can create a bolster or a blanket effect. You also may want to get blocks or, again, use pillows. So go ahead and grab anything that you think you might like. This is a super restorative, gentle, relaxing pose. And I'm filming at Istmo Yoga and Adventure Retreat Center today, and nature is really turning on for us. I hope you can hear the ambient music. We are in the middle of the jungle, and the rain is pouring, and there's thunder off in the distance, and it makes for a very relaxing practice. So we're going to go ahead and come on to our backs. So you want to take whatever you're using as a bolster, whether it's a blanket, whether it's a yoga mat that you've laid a blanket on, or several king-size pillow or a couple of those, and you want to place it right at the base of your back here and begin to lie back on the bolster, the blanket. And you may need to wiggle and shimmy in until you get into just that place that feels the best for your back. It may be lower, it may be higher. And then allow your shoulders to just soften down the sides of that bolster or that pillow or that mat. If you feel like you need a little extra support under your neck, you could place a thin pillow, or even better, a rolled hand towel just under the arch of your neck. Now you can keep your feet flat like this and knees bent, and drop the knees in towards each other. So that's one variation on the lower half of the body. Or you can begin to let your knees go wide, and again you can use blocks for support to support those knees, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Find what works for you. So in restorative yoga, we hold the poses for a really long time. So as you get into the pose, if you're kind of uncomfortable now, you're going to be really uncomfortable by the end of it, because like I said, we hold the poses for a while. So take your time to nestle in, adjust, to readjust, whatever feels good to you. And as you're settling in, you might need to move around a little bit more, and that's okay. But begin to let your eyes close and draw that awareness within. And quite specifically focusing in on the gentle pull of gravity on your body. You're going to allow your entire body to surrender completely to the gentle pull of gravity. Notice the parts of you that are holding on or resisting the gentle pull of gravity. And notice any parts of you that have already softened and surrendered into that gentle pull of gravity. Visualize and imagine the earth lifting up to hold and support and cradle your body as you surrender completely. Turn now to your breath, and we'll begin to articulate a nice, slow and deep rhythmic breathing pattern that will take us through our practice today. So the next time you inhale, take a nice, slow, deep breath down into your belly. And once your belly's filled up, keep breathing into your ribs. And once your ribs are filled, keep breathing all the way up into your chest. And then as you exhale, empty out your chest first, then empty your rib cage, and finally emptying out your belly. 3-part inhalation, inhaling into your belly, your ribs, your chest, breathing out through your chest, your ribs, your belly. And allow the flow of your breath to be at the very forefront of your mind's awareness. Crystal clear. And all the thoughts in the mind, they don't stop coming, but you just allow them to kind of float to the background of the mind's awareness, a bit fuzzy, a bit out of focus, if you will, as that breath is crystal clear in the forefront of the mind. Invite yourself to not let one single breath go unnoticed. And if you have found that your mind has gone off on a tangent or been distracted, you simply gently bring the mind back to the moment, to the body, to the pose, to the breath, to the moment. If you'd like to create a mantra or an intention for your practice, go ahead and do that now. And the breath and the mantra together serve as your foundation for every moment in your practice. Scan the body for any resistance to gravity. Slowly begin to bring movement into our body, heading to the next pose. Move in any way that feels good for you, whatever you need to do to bring those legs back together. Maybe stretch them out over, arms overhead and heels together. Long, big stretch in the whole body. And then sigh it out And let your body melt one more time. We're going to come into a side twist. So take a minute, roll off the mat or the bolster. And we're going to adjust again here. And again, just use pillows, use blankets, bolsters, blocks, whatever you have. You may want something, you'll most likely want something underneath your neck. This might actually be too high. I think it is going to be too high, so I'm going to grab my blanket. I'm going to put something underneath my neck here for support. Actually, maybe it wasn't too high. And then I'm going to take my bolster. I'm going to have the left side of my body flat on the floor. And I'm going to come into a little twist here. I'm going to place my right knee on top of a pillow, a bolster, a blanket, whatever I have. I'm going to slide my left arm out and flatten that shoulder, and then begin to roll and look back over that right arm. So again, it may take you some time to adjust, get your props right where you want them. You may find that it feels really good and you start to settle in, and then you want to change and move again, and that's okay. Make it your own. Take your time to wiggle in, adjust, readjust. Look as far over that right shoulder as it feels good to you. I wonder if you guys can hear the rain because it's coming down pretty hard. It's a beautiful sound. Start to tap into that deep, deep breathing. Remembering your mantra. Finding that gentle pull of gravity on your body. And allowing yourself to give in completely to that gentle pull of gravity. Scanning the body for parts of you holding on or resisting. And each exhalation is an opportunity to let go of one more layer of tension or tightness. Step back and become the observer of the process of settling and surrendering. Feel the parts of your body that have a connection and contact with the floor or the mat or a prop. And see if you can allow those points to become heavier and to expand and become deeper and wider. Last few breaths here on this side. And as you're ready, slowly come out in any way that feels good and natural to you. Of course, we're going to head to the other side. Adjust your props, blankets, pillows. you want to come onto your right side. Slide that right arm out and flatten the shoulder. Place that left knee on the bolster, and you could have it really high, lots of pillows. Begin to flatten the shoulders. Turn and stretch and look back over that left shoulder. Wiggle in, adjust, readjust, whatever feels good for you. Notice the contact the different parts of your body have with the floor or the mat or the props. And see if you can allow those points of contact to become bigger, heavier. Taking deep breaths into the belly, the ribs, all the way up into your chest. And slow breaths out through your chest, through your rib cage, and finally out through your belly. Allow yourself to surrender more and more with every breath. Deeper and deeper. If you find yourself distracted, just gently guide the mind back to the mat, to the moment. As you're ready, you're going to slowly come out in any way that feels good for you. Taking your time, honoring how fast or slow the body wants to move. And then we're going to come up to seated to transition into a pigeon pose. So roll over onto your side. Use your top hand and your top leg to press you up, keeping your head very relaxed. And we're going to come into pigeon pose. Pigeon is one of my favorite poses, probably my favorite. And I could easily be in pigeon without any props, but restorative yoga is about finding zero resistance and really just settling in deeply. So I'm going to use some props just so I can get a very relaxed feel. So we'll start here in table pose and then begin to slide the left knee towards the left wrist. And then I'm going to grab my bolster here, or my blanket, and use it as a bolster. You could use a block, a pillow, whatever works for you. And then begin to slide down and feel my hips settle deeply into that prop. And then I'll use a bolster, or you can use again a pillow or a blanket, to begin to stretch forward, out, and down. And again, finding gravity, finding that gentle pull. allowing my body to give in completely. At any time, if you need to come out of the pose and adjust or readjust, feel free. You don't want to be uncomfortable in the pose. This should feel really, really good. I'm a very visual person, and I visualize my whole body slowly melting, just as if I were slowly melting a pat of butter in a warm pan. If that helps you out with that visualization, go with it. Another visualization I use is that I've turned into liquid and I'm being poured out on the floor. And remember that how you started in the pose may not look the same as when you finish, because you've just slowly gone deeper and deeper. I'm curious to listen to this later and see if you guys can hear that big sound of thunder. Keep breathing deeply and using the breath as an anchor to the present moment. Letting go more and more. And more. I'm going to slowly begin to move out of the pose to transition to the other side. Just come up slowly on your own time and your own pace. If you'd like to press back to a child's pose, and you could bring your bolster or blanket with you. It's a transition pose. Just a couple of breaths here. As you're ready, we'll take it to the other side, moving your props over. We're going to take the right knee towards the right wrist. Grab your blanket, your pillow, your block, whatever you're using, and slide it underneath that right hip. Begin to straighten that back or left leg. And then as you're ready, stretching out and down, out and down. And if you turned your head in one direction on the other side, turn it in the opposite direction on this side. Begin to nestle in, adjust, readjust. Finding that gentle pull of gravity on your body. If those visualizations work for you, imagine that you've been turned into liquid and you're being poured out on the floor, taking up no particular shape or form. Melting into your blanket or your pillow or your bolster. Your breath is your anchor to the moment. Letting go more and more. And slowly begin to move out of your pose. Take your time. You might head back to another child's pose, again with or without your props. Taking a few deep breaths here. Feeling those hips sink towards your heels. Feeling the ribs sink in towards your thighs. Feeling the head sink down into the pillow or the bolster or the mat. Slow, deep breath. Letting go a little bit more. As you're ready, slowly coming up. You could go straight into Shavasana from here, or if you feel ready and complete to end your practice, come into a seated position. Bring the hands in front of your heart. Let your eyes close. Take a moment here, acknowledging how you're feeling in your mind, your body, and your spirit after your practice. As always, thank you for showing up and sharing your yoga with me. Namaste.